Hi, welcome. Welcome to my home. I wish I could serve you some food or something to drink right now, but maybe eventually technology will be able to do that. But get yourself something to eat, okay, while you watch this, because this is going to be my life story. From immigrating from communist Poland to America. Danuchna! Mami, ja teraz rozmawiam z gośćmi. Sorry. Masz tu gości? Poczęstuj im czymś, zrób jakąś kawę albo herbatę. Please make yourself at home. My house is your house. Danuchna, nie gadaj, tylko wyprasuj mi te ubrania. I do have a lot of work to do though, because we live on a farm and there's always so much to do. So just don't mind me doing my own stuff, but you make yourself at home, okay? The only way I got by with doing all my household chores is with books. They were my friends. I loved stories so much because I could escape into a different world and travel for free. This is how I would iron. Co ty robisz? Przepraszam, znowu czytasz. Muszę tylko skończyć tą stronę, ja muszę. Najpierw ubrania, bo mi je spalisz. Ja spalę tą książkę, jak słowo daję. Nie, mami, nie, proszę cię, nie rób mi tego, mami, proszę, nie. Na wsi zawsze było ciężko i zawsze będzie ciężko. Musimy robić to, co nam należy i pracować, ciągle pracować. From a young age I was taught to put my needs all aside, sweep them all away, learn how to serve others. Until I got older, I realized I had needs of my own and wants of my own. I was 10 years old and taking care of my younger siblings and all the household chores. But that's just how living on the farm was. I didn't even have time for any homework, which I just really wanted to do. Za gotowanie się bierz, a nie za czytanie. We were so poor, but whenever we had guests over, we would put out all our food for them so they could have a choice. I wish you were here now. Oh my gosh, if you were here, you would be eating so much food right now. We would make something out of nothing. During my free moments, I would come to the forest to pick blueberries and mushrooms. I knew exactly where the good mushrooms were because they always grew where their roots were. They didn't really like to immigrate to different parts of the forest. They always stayed in one spot. I knew where their roots were. Blueberries were also so nice to find because then we could make jams and compote for the guests and have so much to offer, and it was all free from Mother Nature. I was so good at finding things in the forest that I started my own business, and I sold the things I found in the forest for money so I could buy books. Shopping in communist Poland was like a scavenger hunt because you never really know what was going to be in the stores. You just had to settle for what they had. So, one time I needed new shoes because my shoes were broken and had holes in them. So I go to the store and I find the perfect pair of shoes. Look, they were so beautiful. Of course, they were 2 sizes too big, but I decided to buy them anyway. Because my mother always said we need to buy ubrania na wyrost, which meant clothes to grow into. So I got them, and I couldn't wait to have them, so I put them on right when I got them, and then I biked home. While biking home in my new shoes, a neighbor saw me and of course had to comment on my shoes because it takes a village to raise a child. Dzień dobry!
O, Danuchna, dzień dobry! A twoje buty są za duże!
Są idealne!
Byś mogła zmieścić jeszcze jedną stopę w jednym bucie. Co będzie? Przewrócisz się i co?
Ja się nauczyłam, że muszę kupować rzeczy 2 rozmiary większe, bo rosnę.
Zepsujesz sobie stopę! Posłuchaj starszej!
No, dziękuję pani Doroto.
Powiedz mamie, że przyjdę dzisiaj na kawę.
No dobra, do zobaczenia.
Tak.
Everyone is so willing to help, almost to a fault. The Polish character is described as being so nice and wanting to help everyone except ourselves. Maybe to prove to ourselves our self-worth by seeing how many people need us and we could help. The
This is part of our Polish history though, because Poland was always getting attacked on and we were never doing really any of the attacking. We were just turning the other cheek. We just wanted to be liked.
Polish families are so big because everyone feels like family, even if they're not. Random people would butt into your life with concerned remarks to help. Like, for example, in the winter, people would always say,
Dlaczego nie masz czapki?
because during communist times, giving advice was the way to survive. Polish people just wanted to serve. During communist times, coffee was so hard to find. It was such a luxury. Because you either had to know someone who lived abroad who could send it to you, or you had to go to an expensive store called Pewex, where you could buy Western goods, but you had to pay in dollars, which very few people had because that's not Polish currency. Thankfully, we had a distant relative from the West who would send us coffee, so we would always have people over for coffee, and it was such a nice gathering. People would come and share their smutki I radości with everyone. It was like group therapy, honestly. Before the breaks, my mother would invite everyone she saw to come over for coffee, come!
Przyjdźcie na kawę, no chodź ta, zróbcie sobie przerwę. Mamy wystarczająco dla wszystkich, no chodź, czas żeby porozmawiać, chodź ta.
Although these group gatherings were fun, I got kind of bored of hearing the same people complain about the same thing over and over again. They seemed happy because they were part of a community. I just wanted something more. I wanted my little book so I could read and escape to a different story and a different problem.
Besides books, another escapism I had was to climb a big tree so I could see past my little village to other villages and imagine what kind of adventures I could go on. I knew life could be much more.
The problems people complained about were so common. Everyone seemed to be going through the similar things, except everyone had to say it in their own words. I mean, everyone was similar because most, if not all people, were white, Catholic, Polish people who were very family-oriented and thought very collectively. Communism trained us to be equal. And yet, some people were just more equal. Everyone was very similar. They all thought that usually people should get married young to start having kids young, so that there will be more workers on the farm. But these young people don't even know who they are, and then they get stuck in these horrible marriages because no one ever taught them how to love and how to communicate. To be in a good relationship, you must be your own person, have your own goals and dreams, passions and life. I mean, I learned this all in books. I would have no idea if I didn't read. Musisz pokazać chłopakom, żebyś mogła być dobrą żoną, bo sprzątasz i gotujesz. Serio, musisz się starać już o to, bo to jest twój wiek, no już musisz jakiegoś męża mieć.
Po co ciągle czytasz? I po co ci ten francuski?
Potrzebujesz jakiegoś fajnego męża. Ludzie powoli będą myśleć, że zostaniesz starą panną. All I wanted was to learn French and escape into a different reality. When I would go on the fields to pick potatoes or to pasture for the cows, I would carry a huge, heavy boombox and listen to my learning French cassette. This was my companion. Nobody understood why I was carrying such a heavy thing.
Danuchna, co ty robisz? Idziesz na pole czy na dyskotekę?
Ja uczę się francuskiego. Uczysz się francuskiego? Po co ci to? Nigdy nie pojedziesz do Francji, nam nie wolno, rozumiesz? Słuchaj, Danusia, ja nawet nie skończyłam podstawówki i żyję. Są ważniejsze rzeczy niż studiowanie. To nie jest strata czasu. Ja pracuję też. Są ważniejsze rzeczy do robienia. Czas znaleźć męża. Learning French was one of the most valuable things I could do for myself. It made me interesting in a place where there was barely any differences of thought. It was my ticket to adventure. Everyone laughed at me because they thought it was a waste of time, but I was just doing it for fun. French made sense to me. I just wanted to learn.
Working on the farm made me very athletic, so I competed in biathlon, which was paid for by the government. Every winter, With a group of 12 people, I would go to the mountains to train for the national competitions. We would practice all day, and in the evenings we had to study on our own. I continued my romance with French during this time. But on Saturdays, we would have parties. There was always someone with a guitar. We would dance, sing, and talk. There was a boy who liked me and paid attention to me, and a girl who was jealous of that. She came up to me and knew about my passion for French, and so she said,
A czy ty słyszałaś, że w Częstochowie w poniedziałek będzie egzamin dla tych, którzy chcą jechać do Francji? Co? No! Ale chyba nie zdążysz, bo jesteśmy daleko. Ja zdążę. Dziękuję, że mi powiedziałaś.
She wanted to ruin my evening by distracting me with this exam, just so she could get attention from the boy, who wouldn't pay any attention to her anyway. I arrived to the exam hall and discovered they were doing 2 tests for the applicants, one in French and then another one in politics.
I knew I was fine in French, but politics, it was a different story. I grew up on a farm. We never really talked about politics. The only newspaper in my house was a Russian old magazine, Sputnik, that served as missing toilet paper. We didn't talk about politics. Hard work on the farm was our politics. We would either talk about the weather, or what we needed to finish that day, or if we can store the hay or wheat in the barn, or if it can be outside. I had no idea about politics. To zaczynamy.
First was the test in politics, and they started off with the easiest question.
Numer 1. Ile jest partii politycznych w Polsce? Nie wiem. Żartujesz? There was only one spot, and 40 dreamers.
They were so shocked when I turned out to be the best on the French exam.
And I was the chosen one. Because it was easier to teach an ignorant person about politics than to teach a politician the French language. I was so excited to participate in the international student camp. Oh, I was chosen. I was so excited. Oh my gosh, I just wanted to get across the Iron Curtain. We all thought West was best because people there had stuff in their stores and had social mobility, and they had so many choices and big houses and cars and everything, coffee in their stores. I mean, you could host so many people with the goods that they had. It was crazy. What more could you want? When I was on the train crossing the border to France, my heart was pounding so much. Oh my gosh, I had waited for this for so long, for my whole life.
There were about 30 students, all from different parts of Europe, but mostly from Western Europe. We were staying in one big classroom. Each of us had a spot for our sleeping bags. Every day, 2 people had to go to the store to buy groceries and cook for the whole group.
I felt very shy and awkward in front of these people. It was like I was a savage girl from the jungle. Thank goodness a Dutch student came up to me and started talking to me. Tu veux cuisiner avec moi? Moi? Oui. Toi? Bien sûr! I was so relieved that he asked me to go with him to the store because I would not have known how to act in a grocery store full of choices. Like 10 types of bread or 300 cheeses. Those Westerners were so confident in themselves. It was like they had the right to choose all the time. Wow. Nous avons tout le monde de nourriture. Est-ce que vous voyez? Tout est là. Je vois. Nous pouvons choisir ce que nous voulons. C'est incroyable, n'est-ce pas? Ouais. Tout le monde de liberté. Le pouvoir de choisir. C'est normal. Nous pouvons être le si bon hôte. Pas comme en Pologne, où aller au magasin est une surprise de ce qu'il y aura. Tu es très mignonne.
Everything was so new, and everyone else was used to it. This sparked so many conversations about what life must be like behind the Iron Curtain. Danuta, comment est la Pologne derrière le rideau de fer? Viens et voir! Et sois mon invité. In Polish, we have a saying that says, gość w domu, Bóg w domu, which means guests in the house, gods in the house. D'accord, je veux voyager. when I came back to Poland, my friends from France actually came to visit me. Can you believe that? They followed through and came to visit Poland because they were so intrigued at the new, different perspective and wanted to see the reality of living in communist Poland. They would come individually, and I was so excited to host them. And at the borders, one by one, they would be questioned. Where are you from and who are you trying to visit? I'm from France and I'm visiting Danuta Buyak. I'm from Germany and I'm visiting Danuta Buyak. I'm from Holland and I'm visiting Danuta Buyak. They always said my name and address. I had no idea they would do this. And the secret police got suspicious. And this information quickly traveled to my local police, where my passport was, because that's how they controlled us. Sure, I may invade people's independence whenever I try hosting them by offering them so much, but I would never spy on anyone. The secret police invaded my life, and it was always the same conversations every time I was called into a meeting, which happened very often.
Co robisz?
Studiuję.
Kiedy byłaś we Francji?
Rok temu,
Po co?
na obozie studenckim.
Kim są ci ludzie, którzy chcą przyjechać do ciebie?
Znajomi.
A co oni robią w swoim kraju?
Studiują i pracują.
Dlaczego przyjechali do Polski?
Tylko mnie odwiedzić.
Dlaczego mówisz po francusku?
Jest piękny język i lubię się uczyć.
Dlaczego naprawdę pojechałaś do Francji?
Wygrałam konkurs i mogłam. Chciałam zobaczyć świat i inną perspektywę. I mogłam. Ja nic złego nie zrobiłam. Wszystko było legalnie. Przyjechałam legalnie z powrotem. I ja tylko tęsknię za znajomymi, dobra?
Przetłumacz mi te listy.
These meetings happened so often. I know I couldn't lie because I knew they were just waiting for me to slip up.
Co tam pisze? Dokładnie, nie kłam.
The secret police had me translate every single letter I ever wrote or received in French. I felt like someone was barging into my private life with these disgusting boots. They thought they had some sort of right to just stomp all over my life. I never told my family about these invasions. I was the first one from my village to ever go to college, and I was living in a dormitory. I didn't want to worry them.
They found out where I lived and came here to dig up some non-existent proof that I was some kind of spy. I liked having my room super clean so I could have guests over. Do I not have the right to have my own guests? Ty wiesz, co SB robi ze mną? Tak mnie chcą psychicznie męczyć. Jak? Ciągle mam przesłuchania, jak pod lupą na mnie patrzą. Nawet nie mogę oddychać w swoim kraju. Przepraszam, ale może niepotrzebnie pojechałaś do Francji. To jest tylko ich praca, żeby szpiegów nie było. Ale ty mnie wierzysz, prawda? Ja nie jestem szpiegiem. Ja już nie wiem, w co wierzę. Turns out that person was connected to the secret police. They just were waiting for me to make a mistake. I wanted to leave again. I couldn't trust anyone. So I took it upon myself to try to leave again. Dzięki za rozmowę. Do zobaczenia. I don't really know how to transition this during the story, but Polish people take April Fool's Day very seriously. It is the one day that you cannot trust what you hear or what you see at all. And of course, that day I was in town and I was walking down the street and I saw a poster from a travel agency that said, "Trip to America for Polish students." It looked official and everything. It had the travel agency attached to it, and I had a friend who worked at that travel agency. Well, he wasn't really a friend. He was an acquaintance because we hadn't spent enough time together to be friends. So I saw him down the street a few days after April Fool's Day, and I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to pretend I didn't see him and I would just ignore him because he was very stuck up and wouldn't talk to anyone who was lower status than he. But I heard an echo in my head of my mother saying, Danuchna, przywitaj się z wszystkimi. Wszyscy jesteśmy ludźmi. Nie udawaj lepszą. Mów dzień dobry do wszystkich. So I wanted to talk to him And I said,
Hej Mateusz, to był dobry żart na Prima Aprili z tym ogłoszeniem.
jakie ogłoszenie?
No ten plakat o wyjeździe do Ameryki dla studentów.
To nie był żart.
Jak to nie był żart?
Tak, to prawda. Almatur znowu może organizować wyjazdy do Stanów, bo 10-letnia kara już minęła.
Jaka kara?
Zorganizowaliśmy wyjazd do Ameryki, ale wszyscy zostali i ambasada amerykańska dała nam 10 lat kary i studenci nie mogli wyjeżdżać, ale teraz mogą.
A ja bym mogła jeszcze się zapisać?
Dana, już jest lista oczekujących.
Nic nie stracę próbując.
Powodzenia!
I ran to get on the waitlist, but I needed to convince the police to give me my passport because they were in possession of it.
Teraz znowu chcesz zostawić twój piękny kraj. Tak jest, proszę pana. Chcę zobaczyć świat. A wrócisz? Tak. No. I really wasn't sure. Jak możemy być pewni, że wrócisz? Niech pan mi zaufa. Naprawdę wrócę. Wszyscy teraz kłamią. Wiesz, że Polakom nie wolno być w Ameryce, zostać tam i pracować tam. Wiesz, nie wolno. Wiem. Mój brat żeni się za kilka miesięcy. I wie pan, nie mogę tego upuścić. Jestem świadkiem. Masz wesele? Wow, dobrze, dobra. That was the most convincing statement I could say, because Polish family ties are very strong and one could not omit a brother's wedding. I still did. I missed a lot when I left. But I knew that the secret police would let me go if they knew that I would be back. Proszę bardzo. Dziękuję.
I had no idea when I would be back. If I would be back. My parents at first were devastated, but then they realized I was going to the land that flowed with milk and honey. America was the Polish dream. Goodbyes were always the hardest. Dbaj o siebie. Dziękuję za wszystko, kochanie. Kocham cię. Najlepiej to zaoszczędź sobie pieniądze na mieszkanie i wracaj. Córeczko, jak wyjedziesz, to znajdź ludzi, którzy przypominają cię o Polsce. Jesteś miła i dobra. Zostań blisko kościoła, módl się. My będziemy się modlić za ciebie codziennie. Przyjeżdżaj z powrotem. Kocham cię. Jesteś Pa. Pa. Zostań z Bogiem. No pa. Idź z Bogiem. Dzwoń jak będziesz mogła i pisz listę, dobra? No, to pojechała do Ameryki. Alright everyone, welcome to America. America is not an easy country. It will be harder to make it than you think, alright? Now, I have a question for everyone. How many of you Polish people are trying to stay in America? All but 3 hands shot up in the air. Wow, that many! Alright, well, good luck! You'll need it. America is such a hard country, and immigrants have to work so much harder. Y'all are at a disadvantage. Americans might think that they like you, and they might seem like they do, but deep down you'll know the truth. Everyone is competing against each other. Every man on his own, I guess. We're gonna get started on our tour here. We're gonna go to Washington, D.C., Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, and Maine. We are a very independent country. I really hope you'll like it here. I made so many connections with people because everything was so new and had to be explained to me. I was not used to any of this. I was remembered as the super positive farm girl. Positivity is so contagious. People love to feel good here. When you ask people how they are, it's like a script.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good, 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 good. How does good feel? I want to feel good. And are you really good if you say that you're good? Because in Poland, if you ask someone how they are, get ready to hear everything that is going on in their lives. One cannot just be good in Poland. There is always something to complain about, something to open up about and be vulnerable about. I had the best time in America. We went to so many different states and it was so nice. The cars were so big, the streets were so wide, the skyscrapers made my head spin. I had no idea how architecture worked like that. It was crazy. I wanted to stay. The last part of the trip, we were in New York, and my dad had given me a contact information for someone who lived in New York, so I could contact them to stay. I was nervous if they would even recognize who my dad was.
At the hostel, I waited for the telephone, and a man who was also waiting asked me,
Where are you from?
Poland, what about you?
España.
Wow, that's so amazing! What are you doing in America?
I'm just here traveling with my sister because we are on vacation.
America must be a nice place to vacation.
What are you doing here?
Trying to find a job. This is my last day and I really can't go back to Poland and I have no place to stay. I have someone to call but I just don't know if they'll have room or anything and I just don't know what to do because I really can't go back to Poland.
Listen, I don't want to be too forward, but me and my sister both have bunk beds in our separate rooms. We have 2 rooms. If you want, you can have my room and I'll move into my sister's room this week.
You're kidding.
What? No, serious. Take the room. Here, I give you my key.
But I'm a stranger though.
We're all strangers at one point.
You're the nicest person I've met here in America. Thank you.
It's nothing.
Without that stranger, I might have had to sleep under the bridge. But thanks to him, I was able to stay in America. And I am so grateful. I tried going back to Spain one day to try to find him, but I could never. So I just hope that someday he realizes how much he changed my life. After a feckless week of job hunting, I joined up with 3 Polish friends from the trip who were staying in Washington, D.C. and working in a greenhouse and garden work. We created a community together because we were all Polish.
I miss Poland a lot and my family. I just wanted to take care of them. Thank goodness I had my Polish friends so I could still speak Polish and have it in my mouth. I didn't really miss the Polish language. I was learning English on my Walkman and thank goodness because I never wasted time and since my English was getting better and better, I was able to get a new job outside of the greenhouse and get some more independence. I was able to become a cleaning lady and was able sometimes to clean 3 houses in one day. I mean, it's crazy. Thanks to my English, I was able to become more independent from my greenhouse friends and I quit working there once I found out that they were frauds who were not paying us what they promised and they were charging for room and board as if we were living in an all-inclusive, luxurious hotel, which we were not. In order to stay here legally, I had to enroll in community college to get a student visa until I miraculously won a green card through the lottery. But I loved school. I loved learning. I loved the big yellow school buses. It felt so American. I was going to American school with international people, but also American people. So I met so many wonderful people and I invited them over for tea because I wanted to hang out with them in my home and be their host. Just like my mother was hosting people for coffee every day, I would have people over so often. But when I was alone, I had moments of extreme loneliness. In times of loneliness, I wanted to call my family, but I couldn't just pick up the phone and call them because in Poland we didn't have a home phone.
my family, my parents had to go to our uncle's house who lives 30 kilometers away and find out when exactly I will be calling and then schedule an appointment and then show up there when I'm calling. A week before we had to schedule, so I couldn't just call them whenever I felt lonely.
I would change jobs, and every job I got was better than the last one. A few years went by, and I ended up in Boston, and I got a job at a hotel working as a concierge. Because I knew so many different languages, I could show tourists around the area. My dad tried out to get a visa to come here, and he came. He got it. So of course I had to find him a job, and he was a very hard-working, always busy farmer, and he needed some kind of occupation. He knew that the monthly salary in Poland was $20, so he was like, any job will be good in America because they paid more. I had a friend from Ireland. He was so funny. He would work so many different side jobs. He was an immigrant, very Catholic. And so I asked him if he needed any help, any extra hands, and so he said,
Of course we could use a Polish person. I love Polish people. Oh, they're so down to earth like us.
Polish people love Irish people.
Polish people really remind me of Ireland.
We're all immigrants, I think.
Polish people make me feel good about myself.
So what kind of job could you give my dad?
You know, the office building in between the hotel you work at and the MIT dormitories?
Yes.
Well, I clean those. I love an extra hand and maybe someone to talk to.
Oh, my dad doesn't speak an ounce of English.
We'll get along. It doesn't matter if we speak the same language. Only 7% of communication comes from words. Sometimes all you need is a smile and a drink. Am I right?
Well, thank you for your help.
Words are sometimes too complicated.
He was able to get my father a job, and I would take my father to the job every day on the train station, and once he got comfortable enough and he knew the way by himself, he would go by himself. And the first day that happened, he came back, and I will never forget his face.
Danuchna, ty wiesz, że ludzie w pociągu nie rozmawiają ze sobą? Wszyscy mają nos w książki, albo w gazety, albo śpią. Nikt nie rozmawia ze sobą. Danuchna, gdziekolwiek jesteś, rozmawiaj z ludźmi. Gdziekolwiek możesz być, rozmawiaj z ludźmi.